Hi, welcome back. Today is kind of like an unintentional starter kit addition to my other starter kit videos. It seems like the starter kit, I don't know what it is, but people really enjoy a nice condensing of products. So I'm back with another one today, and I really wanted to focus on one that was a little bit more budget friendly, even from my drugstore video. That one I think would have probably ran you about $75 to $80 if you purchased all of those items. This one is in the $50 realm, and I realize prices are going to vary depending on where you live, but I am going to try to link down below where the cheapest prices I found these products were, at least online. And we're actually just going to be working with a very small handful of products. This would also be a great kit for those of you who travel a lot and you just want to keep something off to the side that's very travel friendly. So I'm working with only 6 products today and 3 brushes. So I want to talk about these brushes really quickly because I forgot one when I was filming this earlier, and so I just want to break it down right now. Obviously, they're Real Techniques. I have talked about these in multiple videos. If you want more in depth on a kit to purchase from Real Techniques, I do have that information in my drugstore starter kit video, but I'm just using 3 today. I have the setting brush, which of course is one of my most versatile and most used brushes. I have a video on how to complete a full face look with this brush. If you are interested in that, I will put it down below as well. I'm working with the Domed Shadow Brush. Really, any of Real Techniques eyeshadow brushes would be sufficient. I think that they all have a similar shape. And of course, the iconic blush brush from Real Techniques. I just use this as a powder brush. You can use it for several different things: blush, bronzer, powder, but these are the 3 that I'm going to be working with today. So this is the full look, and I am going to run you through it. So starting off with foundation, I am going to switch things up a bit. If you watched my drugstore starter kit video, I recommended the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Skin Tint. That's one of my all-time favorite drugstore products, but since we're working with such a limited amount of product in this starter kit, I really wanted to give you the option to experiment with coverage levels, and for that reason, I'm going to suggest looking for a foundation that has a little bit more coverage to it, something in the medium to full spectrum realm. That way you can go from really light coverage by mixing it with your moisturizer or bumping it up to its fullest coverage level. So I have 3 to recommend. Maybelline Matte and Poreless. This one is obviously a very smooth matte finish, and I generally don't go for matte foundations because my skin's normal to dry, but I'm gonna tell you why I am recommending more matte to satin finishes for this particular video in just a second. So that's a really great one to look into. The Loreal Infallible Freshwear. This is more of like a natural finish, not too flat, not too dewy. And then if you just feel like you're not into a ton of coverage, really like the NYX Bare With Me Tinted Skin Veil. This is a little bit more satiny compared to the Neutrogena skin tint that I talk about. It's not as dewy, so I do think it would be appropriate for a lot of skin types. I'm actually going to be using the Maybelline Matte and Poreless today. I think I'm just going to do something in between like a light and medium coverage. Just going to get a little bit on the back of my hand, and we're going to take the Real Techniques setting brush, and I'm going to start out where I want the most coverage, which is mainly my under eye area. So the reason I am opting for a foundation that has a little bit of a flatter finish or a matte finish is because these tend to dry down really nicely on their own, and a lot of the times they don't require a powder. So in this video today, I'm actually not going to be using a powder because I wanted to keep this very limited, very, cost effective, and I'm going to show you a quick alternative for that if you don't have a face powder in your collection. I know most of you watching, if you're a frequent viewer of my channel, you have a pretty hefty collection, or at least a base collection. So this is specifically going to be for those of you who are starting from scratch or need something that's very travel and basic friendly. The second reason I'm opting for a fuller coverage foundation is because we are not including a separate concealer for this. I'm actually just going to take that domed eyeshadow brush and I'm going to pick up a little bit of extra foundation. And because this is a denser brush, it's much more densely packed than what the setting brush is. It's going to apply a little bit more product and give you just a tad bit more coverage. So I'm actually just taking my same foundation and I'm applying it in the areas that I want more coverage. You can also take your finger and apply a bit more coverage in the areas you want as well. You can see I have a bit more coverage going on this side compared to this side. Now, I mentioned I had a slight alternative to using a setting powder on your entire face. So generally in most of my routines, I would use a cream bronzer, something like the Physicians Formula Sculpting Bronzer. But in this one, I wanted to just go ahead and recommend using any drugstore bronzer that you enjoy, that you like. This one is the Flower Beauty Heat Wave Bronzer. I know it's a little hard to find. I think it may only be at Walmart and Target. If you cannot find it, the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzers, those are my second choice. But I am going to be using this all over my face just as one would apply bronzer. And this is actually going to help further set my makeup. And actually in a lot of the places on me that makeup might tend to come off first, for me that's generally somewhere around the forehead and then along the jawline. So I'm just be taking this and it's going to be acting as not only a bronzer but also as a slight setting powder for the entire face. I'm not going to fall too much into brows because it's a very subjective category. Everyone has their personal brow product preference. As long as you have something on hand, it will serve you well. It'll be perfectly fine. I'm actually just using a Covergirl pencil today, and there's really nothing I can say about brows. It's pretty standard. All right, so almost done here. Moving into eyes, I would obviously recommend something that is a color that you're going to use on a daily basis, a color that's going to match a lot of things. And also my recommendation, if you watch my channel, if you're not familiar with my channel, I would often recommend cream shadows because they're super easy to work with. So I'm going to be working with my Covergirl True Naked Queenship Shadow Stick. This is a really nice taupey bronze shade. It's in the number 930. It has an actual name, but for some reason they don't put it on the packaging, but I will put the name of it down below. And I'm going to be using this as my eye color today. Revlon also makes, I really like their Color Stay shadow pots. Those are really nice as well. Just find a shade that you're going to use a lot and be able to incorporate into a lot of different looks. So I'm just going to do a really nice hazy brown. Maybe we might go a little smoky. And another thing about having a pencil or stick like this is you can very easily bring it down and use it in an eyeliner fashion. You can take an angled brush and just pick up a little bit of product and use it as an eyeliner, and that way it's just a really versatile product to have. And I'm going to be using my favorite drugstore mascara, which is the Covergirl Exhibitionist. I also use this one in my drugstore starter kit video. And finally, I'm going to be using my ColourPop Just a Tint lipstick, or it's kind of like a lipstick lip balm hybrid. I always recommend these formulas in videos because not only are they comfortable, but they just have a beautiful and natural finish. I'm also going to be using it on my cheeks as a blush. So you guys know I use this method pretty frequently, using your lip color as a blush. Totally doable. So I just have a little bit of that color on the back of my hand. I'm taking my setting brush and I'm going to pop it on my cheeks. Not only does it add some color to your cheeks, but it's going to add a little bit of a glow as well. All right, so I think we are done, and honestly, just looking at my makeup right now, it really looks no different from how I generally would have done it with higher end products or several other products in my collection, but I really just wanted to focus on a smaller group and learning how you can kind of manipulate your products, use them in different ways, and especially if you have a smaller collection of products. So I hope you found this useful. If you have any questions for me, leave them down below. I will have links to where I found the cheapest prices for these products down below as well. And I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.